Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are going to kick off the final series of the engine build for our potential 3,000 horsepower smack at Ultimate Callout Challenge. I have lined up 2 dyno test sessions. We have Thoroughbred Dyno Day, which is first. I'll be honest, I think we're just gonna do some like fuel only kind of engine break-in smacks on that, and then I have lined up with Levon at Firepunk to go on their dyno at their shop, and hopefully we learn a little bit more about nitrous. Like I said before, I do not know it all. Levon certainly has got something figured out, so we're gonna bring it up there, and yeah, we'll get to work on his dyno. Now, our final piece of the puzzle showed up. This is our industrial injection stage 2 race head. From what Tyler said, this is the same one that they used to run on like Sean's truck. It came like kind of a grayish color. It might have been painted, but we got it painted for the engine. It has their 120-pound competition valve springs, and it looks like an upgraded retainer as well. It has been cut, as you can see here, for our King Speed shelf. And let me get you guys a little bit of this port work. Beautiful, beautiful job. Precision Diesel Machine is who does this. I believe Industrial owns them now. They used to work in conjunction, but I think Industrial bought this portion out, and it's very different than a lot of other companies' port jobs. On the bottom side, we have a 36 millimeter valve. The 36 millimeter valve, in my opinion, does 2 things for us. Number one, it's the largest valve that we can get in a 4 1/8 bore, 4.125 inch bore. That is as big as we can go. Number 2 is on every time I have ran a bigger valve, like the 145s, the 145, 148, even the 150s, I've always tulipped them. Now that could totally be a me problem, just getting it too hot or whatever, but I know quite a few guys that have had issues with those bigger valves and them tulipping, and to me it's just not worth it. So moving along to our engine area, I've been doing just nothing but trannies tonight. So we got David's refreshed. He had a converter come apart again. Man, I'll tell you what, this guy is hard on torque converters. So we got that refresh for him. I ended up putting 3 steels, 3 clutches in it, and then I have a customer's stage 1 trans, so that's like our 650 transmission. This guy actually had quite the hellacious tear up. It broke the lugs off the stock converter. It broke the adapter plate, like put a hole in the adapter plate, and then it shoved the torque converter into the trans, tore up the pump, and then because the pump tore up, he had quite a bit of damage in his directs and overdrives. His forwards were and then his band was pretty burnt up too. So we took basically a stock 48 and upgraded him to a stage 1. So hopefully he'll be happy with that. Also, in other news, with our engine build here, we have come to quite the crossroads. So this is not a no limit problem. I don't think it's anybody's problem other than our own now. So if you look here, you guys will see, I had this all nice and taped up for when I was gone. Let me get this tape off here. So if you guys look real close, you can see that fire ring doesn't really stand very proud, does it? Yeah, because I guess at some point the original owner of this had them change the fire ring. Now the fire ring being loose in the groove's fine, but unfortunately we are going to have to run this one all in the block. Again, you guys know that is not really ideal for what I like to do. I normally like to run half and half. So, you know, it worked for John Schrado, and hopefully it works for us. I guess it's one of those things, like if it ends up being a problem, I don't know how to fix it, really, other than you start machining too much of the sleeve. Like I don't know. I guess this is kind of what we're stuck with. So hopefully our 14 mil main stud or head studs will hold, because I really don't have a lot of options. I guess we could take, now see, you start to get into that copper head gasket problem. I'm not sure. I guess it's one of those things. We might be changing the head gasket or fire rings a lot. But let me get a measuring tool out so you guys can see. So I need y'all to trust me on this, okay? Basically, I have the bar stock sitting on the other sleeve, and I have the tools zeroed on the flange sleeve. Then I drop the ring on. You guys can see we only have 20 thousandths protrusion on this ring. So I'm really glad I checked this before I took the head to Steve, because then at that point we would have had to machine the head back to no groove. So 20 thousandths crush is what we're gonna get. There's a lot of places for the ring to kind of go. With it being square cut, you know, it's not ideal. If this was a motor I was trying to do street miles with, I'd probably have to go back to the drawing board. But being that this is a solid filled block, not solid, a filled block, no coolant down here, I don't think we'll have a lot of issues with it, or really any issues with it bleeding oil and coolant. Again, this is where our head stud hole is right there. And then if you look right here, this is our oil, and there's no way for coolant to get in there other than, if you guys look right in here, this is the coolant passage that goes into the block. So this will allow us to pump. You guys can kind of see the flashlight, maybe. There you go. You guys see there, we'll be able to get coolant through the block out of the factory water pump hole into the head, and then it will come up through the head, and then come through the head, and then come out the thermostat housing right here. So that is all normal. Moving along though on this engine build, what I'm gonna do is pull our temporary oil pan off. We have our stamped oil pan. I did not buy a stamped oil pan. All I do is I take a ball peen hammer, very crude. I think when I did this, I was in a rush, so not my best work, but it will work. Also, shout out to the Kingspeed crew. I lost the hardware for my Kingspeed shelf. I hit up them. They sent the hardware. It was like, I think it was only like 20 bucks. Honestly, it was worth it just not having to measure and order everything on McMaster. So we have replacement hardware for our shelf. So tonight, being that our head stud dowels are still not here yet, they'll be here tomorrow. Or sorry, cylinder head dowels will be here tomorrow. What I'm going to do tonight is seal this back up. We're going to get our oil pan put on, and also get our cylinder head fully built as far as the shelf goes. And we'll throw our bottom mount CP3 on here and start getting this thing dressed. So I'm going to get to work on all of that, and we'll get you guys set up on a time lapse. Intake side, you guys can see one of the things that I like about Industrial, and there are a couple other companies, is all this incredible hand blending work that they do. Really makes them nice, and you know, smooth is fast, smooth is airflow. And this is a CNC port job and then hand blended. So I just, again, huge thank you to Tyler Kipp and Industrial Injection Precision Diesel Machine. I'm not sure who put this together, if it was Brighton or one of the other guys, but it looks incredible, and they hit our deadline, which is super important. Now, to put our Kingspeed shelf on, the Kingspeed shelf is just, I mean, really a work of art anyway. But if you guys look here, it's got an O-ring on it, and then all these bolts. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit, and then it will essentially drop on like this, like so. Now, I did ask them for a new O-ring. I didn't see it in the box, so I think what I'll do is just a little bit of RTV. But let me get this cleaned up, but now you guys can kind of see what this is gonna look like. Okay, and here we go. You guys saw me go through it a few times, got them all torqued. Thought they forgot a bolt, found it over there. So we have all of our bolts in. As you guys can tell, this is used, but it will serve our purposes just fine. So we have fully ported head, and I think Industrial already reamed our head stud holes. Let's verify that. I'm pretty sure that's what old Kipper said, but let's make sure. Yep. So if you guys are new to 14 mil fasteners, what will happen is if you assemble the engine in the truck, you probably will find this out. If you assemble it on a stand and you put all the head studs in, you won't catch this until you try to take it out. But a 14 mil head stud won't actually fit through this hole correctly. It'll get bound up. A lot of times the shank will fit through, but the threads in the block won't. So you just buy a 9/16 reamer, ream it out. Tyler asked if that's what I was going to do, so they already took care of that for us. It is nice because I do it with a cordless drill, and it can really hurt your wrist if you're not careful. So that is done. Now we can move on to putting our pickup tube and our oil pan on this. Very simple factory gasket. The only thing is, now that we have this girdle plate, I had to order longer oil pan bolts, but that, and then we'll need longer bolts for the pickup tube as well. This isn't really I guess something that most of you guys will end up doing, because most girdles sit inside the pan rail for your common rails if you have a VP or a 12 valve block. If you buy like the Industrial girdle, it comes with the longer oil pan bolts. So kind of a non-issue. I'm going to get this done very easy. You guys have seen me do it a million times, so I'm going to just cut to it. Okay, it is not pretty, but this oil pan's on. Hindsight being 2020, should have put the camera on because you guys would have watched me fight with this, but we got it on. These studs are a little bit bigger than the last set, so I had to rehammer it, but everything's on torqued, pickup tube's on torqued. Now we'll flip this motor over, and we will start by putting on our CP3, as well as getting our oil pump, oil cooler, and all that stuff put on. So that way tomorrow, it's just nothing but the cylinder head, injectors, and stuff like that. Okay, we are back for another day. I just want to let you know we do have the gooseneck hitch now in the Duramax, which is nice. Thank you to Brandon for helping me do that. And we now have our cylinder head dowels, which is what we were waiting for to be able to slap this head on. I'm gonna be honest. I talked to Brandon, and I don't know how this red head's gonna look on this engine, so we might do a color change. But let me show you guys kind of what we had to do from PDD. All right, so here is your factory cylinder head dowels here. You guys look right there. And then here are the ones that, oh my goodness, we're already losing one. Here are the ones that Meyer reamed for us. So it's a lot easier for him to do it like on a lathe than it is for me to do it with a cordless drill. But if you look, get one of the stock ones. Here's our old deck plate studs, and unfortunately, due to the demand or material shortage or whatever, we've had a set on order from Hazley since UCC last year. Still don't have them. So you guys look here. All right, they don't fit over the threads. And then you look at the ones that Meyer made us. Perfect. So we can go ahead and get our head installed with our rings. I obviously need to clean these up a little bit. They've been sitting for a while, so I'll get that done. And once I get these cleaned up, let's get the head and the fire ring and the gasket set on here, and let's make this a long block. All right, so we have got our gasket dressing here. I tapped the gasket down. Again, this is copper. We got all of our fire rings in. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna need cylinder dowel holes. At least that's my hope. We'll see once we set the head down. I might put them in the head, but let's get this dropped in. For studs, we are using our deck plate 625s. That is these buttes right here. I think I got these from Hazley / Industrial. So we've had these. These are used. I got them all cleaned up, and I'll put engine on. I'll pull them out once I get the head dropped on. It's just Dave's here, so I'm gonna get the head dropped on, and then we'll pick up the camera again. As you guys can see, this gasket dressing just makes a heck of a mess. You don't want to touch it, get it anywhere, because it is horrible. Also, not for this engine, but for Murr, we have New Performance Auto's newest billet freeze plug, guaranteed not to leak. All one piece here, bolts into the side of the block like so. It uses those two holes and this hole up here, and basically you knock your factory freeze plugs out. These freeze plugs get tapped in as one piece, and like I said, Steve guarantees this not to leak. New Performance Auto is where you get it from. He has a website. I believe he also sells on eBay, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the end-all be-all for billet freeze plugs. No more fighting with T-bolts and dual bolts and leaks and everything else. This is it. Nothing else. Just that he guarantees it. You know that means business. Guys got to watch me struggle bus the torque spec on that. Not very fun. 60, 120, 170 is where I set these, but our head is fastened on. If you guys look, you'll notice that the cylinder or the exhaust side are very short. That is the way this head stud kit is set up. That's why there's very little protruding. Keep in mind, we'll still have quite a bit of crush on the fire ring as well, so you'll get probably another thread showing up. Well, basically you want them where the nut just has full engagement, and that's it. And then after talking with Eric at No Limit, he strongly advised me, do not tap any of the holes. He already did it to what he wants, so some of the head studs are a little different height. That is by his design, and Eric knows more than me, so we're going to go with it. Now, moving on from here, Realistically, it's just bolting crap on. We got to do, put the push rods in, rocker arms in, injectors, connecting tubes, all of that jazz. I'm going to be honest, not really feeling this color. So, I don't know, guys. I think I'm going to just turn up the music and jam, get some stuff done. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when she's all done. We're going to get the manifold thrown on, a bunch of other stuff as well. But I don't know. You guys have seen me do this a million times. I know some of you guys like it. Some of you guys probably get bored doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to just get to work on this, get her buttoned up, and then I'll show you guys kind of where I stopped tonight. The goal for the end of this video and basically for my night is to get this where it's ready to go in our truck tomorrow, which is still sitting here ever so patiently. The only thing I put ahead of this was, again, we put that gooseneck in the Duramax. That way we are ready to go. So we have oil pressure. It is primed. Now we'll back this off a little bit. Pull this out. Oil pump, front cover. All right, for a front cover, bean machine, O-ringed. Pretty sure this is the only one that's O-ringed. Comes with a wear sleeve. I mean, it is so easy. I think I might not be able to do this one-handed, but let me get it on. Pretty simple. Oh, the wear sleeve thing was on backwards. That would help. You just get that thing started. Boom. It's that easy, guys. A little blue Loctite on the old included hardware, and we'll have the front end sealed up with that fresh oil pump. I don't have the hiccups. We have the long block put together here. Again, no limit, short block prep as far as the girdle, billet main caps. It's Eric's deck plate and power bore sleeves, fire rings with a copper head gasket, industrial injection, stage 2 race head, stainless diesel T6 comp manifold, fire punk upper water neck, lower water neck, AC mount, beam machine front cover, no limit billet steel cam, triple heated tappets, 2 extra G 14 mil pumps, a fleece dual pump kit, a fleece dual fed rail, a modified 6-7 rail, modified tubes, dynamite injectors. These are, I think, 105 LPM, GDP horn, King Speed shelf, Armor Inc mounts, and that's it, guys. We got to throw the harness on it, the ECM water pump, alternator, and that's fluid damper, which I'll bring that out, but we'll get some pictures of this and get it thrown in. It is currently 5 o'clock in the morning, so it is time to take a little nap, and then tomorrow we'll start a new video throwing this in there. Again, diamond pistons, diamond or trend pins, Waggler extreme deck plate rods, a balanced crankshaft, 14 mil main studs, 14 mil head stud, 14 mil ARP 625 head studs, Cummins rocker arms, Manton bridges, and we did run the industrial springs this time, and that's about it. Again, this block is filled, which is why you guys see the block filler here. We are going to want water in the cylinder head. So yeah, that's going to be a wrap. Hopefully you guys like this one. Drop a comment down below, subscribe if you're not already, and as always guys, I'll catch y'all on the next one.